Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, Dave Franklin, Cleveland. Great show as always. It's always good to have a shake-up and get people's attention. This ain't no joke. There's no free ride. You know what I'm saying with the coaching staff? But I know it probably broke Stefanski's heart to get rid of Alex Van Pelt because everyone loved him on the team. But, hey, change is good sometimes, right, brother? All right, Dave, I love you. You be safe, you and the family. God bless you, and I'll be back in touch. Love you.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Quincy, again, I think it comes down to they got to figure out how to maximize Deshaun Watson. And so I agree with them. I think it was probably pretty rough on Kevin Stefanski to make that decision.
Yeah, I applaud him for making that decision because it would have been real easy to fall back into it worked with Joe Flacco bag, right? Because as fun as the Joe Flacco run was, as far as 2024 was concerned, like it mattered so little how this offense looked with Joe Flacco because Joe Flacco was just not going to be your quarterback for the next year. And the better he played, the more that fate got sealed that he wouldn't be the quarterback for next year because either he would get paid to play somewhere else or he would retire. So that is a tough decision to make, right? When you have all the justification in the world to say, you know what, this works. I can continue to do this. I don't have to move on from my friend or ask my friend to take a reduced role in the offense. And I'm just going to ignore all the problems that we had and just say, hey, look, Joe Flacco threw for 300 yards. And that would have been real easy. And people would have supported that decision. But Kev did what was difficult, which is to say, no, we still had serious problems that we need to figure out. The fact that we couldn't get explosive plays when Deshaun Watson was in there is something that needs to be solved. The fact that our run game couldn't find a semblance of consistency is something that needs to be solved. And I'm going to make the tough decision to let guys who I think are good at doing what I asked them to do go because I need people to fill a different role now, that have a different area of expertise than what we were doing in the past. That's the sign of a good coach, right? Like a lot of the criticism of like Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh is his inability to do that, right? To make that decision and say, hey, we need a change on offense and go with a completely different foreign philosophy than what he wants. Kevin is being able to do that, and I think a lot of people are using that as a negative against him, but I really don't think that is. That's something I applaud him for.
Yeah, and I know you tweeted this out, and I agree with you. It's kind of ironic because the criticism of Kevin a year ago was his inability to hold people accountable, his staff, and all. Now he's holding people accountable, and it seems to be a problem with the same people. And good teams do that. The Ravens changed offensive coordinators from Greg Roman to Todd Monken, and Todd Monken's offense is kind of taken off. He's figured different set of eyes, different approach, and they figured out how to make Lamar Jackson more effective throwing the football.
The Ravens not only did that for everybody who's saying, well, they fired this coach and who are they going to blame next year? Okay, well, the Baltimore Ravens fired Wink Martindale the year before, right? And then brought in TJ McDonald, and they fired Greg Roman the year after and then brought in Todd Monken. And they're better off for both of those moves. The strength of a head coach is knowing when your coordinators have been like, hey, we've gotten as far as we can go with these guys, or maybe that these guys aren't the ones for the job, making the decision and moving on. That's part of the head coach's job. And if Kevin were still sitting here with AVP and Joe Woods, he wouldn't have a job because that means he wouldn't have been doing his job properly. So, yeah, he made the decision that he needs somebody who is less of somebody who's going to be tending to agree with Kevin and somebody who's going to be a completely different voice from him to bring in so they can advance this offense more, right? He saw that as a problem. We weren't doing motion a ton. We could not get RPO together. We could not throw downfield at times. We could not get things open down the field. We could not get teams to bite on the play action. And instead of ignoring that and saying, hey, we won 11 games, he's deciding to make a change to get better. I mean, this seems like a coaching staff that wants to get better and wants to win it all and tighten the screws to do that instead of a team that wants to like just win 10 games. Because they could have won 10 games with Alex Van Pelt back at offensive coordinator next year, and they would have been fine. But they want to get better than that, and that's the risk they're willing to take.